Did you know that success isn't just about working harder or achieving more? In fact, if you want to find true, lasting success, you need something much deeper, a calm, disciplined mind. It's not about chasing wealth, status, or recognition. The best wisdom I've ever heard comes from ancient Stoic philosophy, teaching us that real prosperity comes from within. The Stoics believed that maintaining inner peace and practicing self-discipline are the ultimate keys to success in both life's greatest challenges and simplest moments. In this video, we're diving into how Stoicism can help you fortify your mind, build an unshakable will, and find a sense of serenity that leads to lasting personal and professional success. Whether you're dealing with disrespect, struggling to stay disciplined, or looking for new ways to grow, these ancient teachings offer powerful practical tools to help you on your journey. Let's explore how embracing Stoic principles can transform the way you approach success, challenge, and self-mastery. Number 1, the armored mind, fortifying yourself with Stoic philosophy. Happiness comes when we feel we're strong enough to face whatever life throws at us, doesn't it? Imagine a day when no matter what happens, whether your plans get cancelled, a friend lets you down, or work becomes overwhelming, you remain calm, centered, and completely in control of your reactions. Picture yourself walking through the storm of everyday life with an inner peace that no one can shake. That image is not just some lofty ideal. It's attainable, and the key lies in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. What if I told you that the strength you need, the resilience you've always admired in others, can be built? A mind as solid as armor, untouchable by life's chaos. This idea brings excitement. Who wouldn't want to be unshakable? It feels empowering to know that you could handle life's twists and turns with grace. But let's not pretend that life doesn't throw curveballs. It does. The good news is, there's a way to face them. The Stoics, especially figures like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, spent their lives honing what they called an armored mind. What does this mean? It's about developing the mental strength to face insults, failures, and even tragedy without being consumed by negative emotions. But how does that actually happen? The Stoic mind isn't born, it's built. It's fortified with practice. Think back to moments when you let an argument with a loved one ruin your whole day, or when a minor setback at work threw off your confidence for weeks. We've all been there. It's frustrating, isn't it? This is exactly where Stoicism comes in. It helps us draw a boundary around our peace of mind, so external chaos no longer dictates our emotional state. This concept isn't new. It's rooted in an ancient philosophy that's been passed down through centuries. You might remember in your childhood or even teenage years, moments when you faced overwhelming challenges. Do you recall a time when you had to muster every ounce of courage just to keep going? Maybe it was your first heartbreak, or the loss of a loved one, or something as simple as a big move that shook your world. The fear, uncertainty, the pain, it was real, but here you are on the other side, standing stronger than before. In many ways, you've already built an armored mind without realizing it. Stoicism merely brings the process into focus, giving you tools to fine-tune this strength so it becomes more resilient. Doesn't that make you curious? To think that all this time you've been building your resilience and strength in ways you might not have even realized. Imagine what could happen if you put your focus on intentionally growing this skill. The concept of fortifying your mind isn't just philosophical talk, it's practical. It's learning how to handle life without letting the world dictate your internal weather. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Isn't that fascinating? The idea that our minds, our thoughts, are the key to controlling how we experience life. What could you achieve if you truly mastered your reactions? Number 2, Stoic wisdom. How ancient teachings lead to modern self-improvement. Let's be honest, Self-improvement has become something of a buzzword lately. Everyone's on a quest to become a better version of themselves, but we often get lost in the process. We download apps, read books, try new routines, but the results seem temporary, don't they? It's easy to get frustrated, especially when you want to make meaningful changes but can't seem to stick to anything long enough to see results. What if, instead of chasing the latest trend, we went back to something tried and true, something that's lasted for thousands of years? Stoic wisdom has been guiding people towards self-improvement since ancient times. The philosophy may seem intimidating, but at its core, it's about mastering the mind. And when you think about it, that's the foundation of any real transformation. Remember how we talked about fortifying the mind earlier? Well, this is where it really starts to make sense. Stoic wisdom isn't just about handling adversity, it's about growing and evolving through it. Think about your own life. You've faced challenges, setbacks, maybe even periods where you didn't know if you could move forward, but you did. And each time you grew. That's the beauty of Stoicism. It recognizes that life will be hard, but it shows us how to use those hardships as stepping stones for improvement. The Stoics believed that the obstacles we encounter are essential for growth. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The struggles you face are like weights in a gym, helping you build mental muscle. Now imagine applying that same mindset to your everyday life. Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, you begin to view them as opportunities to grow stronger, more resilient. Picture how empowering that could feel. You're no longer a victim of circumstance. You're an active participant in your own development. This shift in perspective is profound, isn't it? And the best part? It's not just theoretical. The Stoics offer practical tools to implement this philosophy into your life. Remember those moments of self-reflection, the late-night talks with friends, or even those quiet drives where you replayed everything in your mind. That's where the wisdom begins to take root. As you reflect on your choices, your reactions, your goals, Stoic teachings guide you to not only understand where you've been, but also where you want to go. There's something timeless about this journey of self-improvement. It's not about quick fixes or the latest trend. It's about doing the work, day in and day out. And isn't that what real growth is all about? This ancient wisdom continues to intrigue people today because it taps into a universal truth. Life is hard, but it's in facing these difficulties that we become better. You might wonder, how could something from so long ago still be relevant today? But when you think about it, the human condition hasn't changed that much. Sure, we have smartphones and modern conveniences, but we still grapple with the same emotions: fear, anger, frustration, hope, love. Stoicism remains relevant because it speaks to these fundamental human experiences. Number 3, mastering the mind, using Stoicism to overcome life's challenges. At some point in life, we all face challenges that seem insurmountable. Whether it's a personal crisis, financial hardship, or a mental health struggle, these moments can make us feel completely powerless. We might even question whether we're strong enough to get through it. But here's the thing, the Stoics believed that mastery over the mind is the key to overcoming any challenge. When you have control over your thoughts, you have control over your life. Think back to a time when life threw something at you that you weren't prepared for. Maybe it was a job loss, the end of a relationship, or a health scare. At that moment, it probably felt like your world was crumbling, right? But you found a way through it. You learned to adapt, to persevere. That's what the Stoics called amor fati, the love of fate. It's the idea that instead of resisting life's difficulties, we embrace them as part of our journey. It's not easy, of course, but once you realize that you have the power to decide how you react to life's events, everything changes. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot control and focus instead on what we can control: our mindset, our reactions, our decisions. It's a liberating feeling to realize that While you can't change the outside world, you have complete power over how you interpret and respond to it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This isn't just a philosophical idea, it's a mindset you can cultivate every day. Life is unpredictable. Just when you think you have everything figured out, something unexpected happens. Maybe it's a family emergency, or your plans for the future suddenly change. At first, you might feel overwhelmed or even defeated. But then, as the Stoics remind us, you take a step back, you breathe. You remind yourself that while you can't control the situation, you can control how you respond to it. You begin to see that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, for self-mastery. It's like when you're trying to learn a new skill, whether it's cooking, playing an instrument, or even working out. The first few times you struggle, you make mistakes, but with each attempt, you get better. Your mind works the same way. Each time you face a challenge and choose to respond with patience, acceptance, and resilience, you're strengthening your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Stoicism's approach to life's challenges encourages us to be curious about our own potential. What would happen if, instead of fearing adversity, you embraced it? Could it be that your greatest hardships are also your greatest opportunities for growth? When you shift your mindset in this way, life's difficulties no longer seem like insurmountable obstacles. They become stepping stones to a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Number 4, responding to disrespect, the Stoic way to maintain inner peace. It feels great when people treat us with respect, doesn't it? When interactions with others are smooth, warm, and positive, it lifts our spirits. You walk into a room and everyone is kind, polite, and considerate. These moments make life feel effortless, even joyful. But unfortunately, we don't always live in a world full of rainbows and respect. There are times when disrespect blindsides us, leaving us upset, frustrated, or even hurt. The way someone looks at you, the tone they use, or the words they choose, these small gestures can ruin your mood in an instant. But what if they didn't have to? Imagine this for a second. The next time someone speaks to you in a disrespectful way or undermines your efforts, you don't feel angry or offended. Instead, you feel calm, untouched by their negativity. This doesn't mean you're ignoring the disrespect or allowing yourself to be mistreated. Rather, it means you've trained yourself to maintain your peace regardless of how others behave. Wouldn't that feel like a superpower? In a way, it is. The Stoics believed that while we cannot control how others act, we are fully in control of how we respond. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that other people's opinions and actions are outside his influence. What is within his power is the ability to stay calm, grounded, and peaceful in the face of disrespect. It's a practice, and like any practice, it takes time to master. But the idea that someone else's bad day, rude comment, or unkind gesture doesn't have to affect your internal state, that's liberating. Now think back to a time when someone disrespected you. Maybe it was a rude coworker or a friend who let you down. Do you remember how it felt? The initial shock, the sting of their words, how your thoughts swirled afterward, replaying the situation in your mind. It might have even lingered for days. Most of us have experienced moments like these, where disrespect haunts our peace of mind long after the actual event. It's a heavy feeling, carrying that resentment or frustration. The Stoics recognize this as a trap of the mind, giving too much weight to others' behavior toward us. There's something nostalgic in remembering these moments because they remind us how far we've come. Maybe you've already started to handle these situations better over the years. In childhood or younger days, disrespect might have triggered an immediate emotional response, a heated argument or cold silence. But now perhaps you find yourself more measured, more thoughtful in your reactions. It's a sign of growth, a subtle nod to the progress you've made in mastering your own emotions. This is where Stoicism shines. The ability to respond with calm, even in the face of blatant disrespect, is a skill that builds over time. Aren't you curious about just how far you could take this? Imagine a life where disrespect from others never rattles you, where you could walk through life unaffected by the negativity of others. It's not about being passive or weak. It's about choosing your peace over someone else's actions. When you think about it, isn't that the ultimate form of power? Number 5, building an iron will, self-discipline through Stoic practices. What if every day, no matter the distractions, temptations, or obstacles that arise, you could stay focused on what truly matters? Picture yourself waking up each morning with a clear sense of purpose, effortlessly sticking to your goals, and moving through the day with a laser-like focus. Doesn't that sound like the kind of discipline we all wish we had? The truth is, this kind of iron will can be cultivated, and Stoic practices provide the perfect foundation for building it. We all know that feeling of setting a goal, whether it's going to the gym, eating healthier, working harder, and then slipping up. It happens to everyone. Life gets in the way, or maybe motivation fades after a while. But the Stoics had a secret. They didn't rely on motivation. They relied on discipline. Motivation, as we all know, comes and goes, but discipline, that's what keeps you moving forward on the toughest days. The Stoics believed that self-discipline was the key to a successful and meaningful life. They saw it as a muscle that needed regular exercise. Think of a time when you truly stuck to something difficult. Maybe you trained for a marathon, learned a new skill, or pushed yourself to break a bad habit. Remember how rewarding it felt? The pride that came from knowing you didn't give up, even when it was hard. That's what self-discipline feels like, and Stoicism can help you develop more of it. If you look back at the toughest moments in your life, the times when you had to dig deep and stay disciplined, it's likely that those experiences helped shape the person you are today. Maybe it was a long period of studying for exams, getting through a difficult job, or facing a personal challenge that required perseverance. These moments are often bittersweet in hindsight, aren't they? There's a certain nostalgia that comes from reflecting on how you overcame them. At the time, it felt like a struggle, but now you can see the growth that came from sticking with it. Stoicism reminds us that every act of discipline, no matter how small, contributes to our overall growth. It's like forging iron in fire. The more pressure you withstand, the stronger and more resilient you become. In a world full of distractions, endless social media scrolling, constant entertainment, and the pressure to keep up with everyone around us, developing an iron will feels almost like a superpower. Don't you wonder what your life could look like if you mastered this kind of self-discipline? Number 6, reflection and mindfulness, harnessing Stoicism for personal growth. Have you ever had a quiet moment, sitting alone with your thoughts, where everything seemed to slow down? Maybe it was while watching a sunset, taking a walk in nature, or even during a late-night drive. These are the moments when we often reflect on our lives, our choices, our relationships, our dreams. There's something incredibly powerful about these pauses, isn't there? It's in these moments of reflection that we truly come to understand ourselves. Stoicism places great emphasis on reflection and mindfulness as tools for personal growth. The Stoics would often begin or end their day by reflecting on their actions, their thoughts, and how they handled the challenges that came their way. This wasn't just a casual practice, it was intentional and structured. Marcus Aurelius, in his famous Meditations, wrote about his daily reflections, reminding himself to stay grounded, to focus on what truly mattered, and to keep his emotions in check. Think about your own life for a moment. How often do you truly take time to reflect on your day? We live in a world where it's easy to go from one task to the next, always moving, always doing, but it's in the stillness that we gain clarity. Reflection allows us to learn from our experiences, to recognize our strengths and weaknesses, and to make conscious decisions about how we want to move forward. It's a form of mindfulness that goes beyond the surface. It's about truly understanding who we are. For many of us, moments of reflection come with a sense of nostalgia. We think back to who we were 5, 10, or 20 years ago and see how much we've changed. There's a beauty in that, isn't there? Life moves so quickly, and yet, when we pause to reflect, we see the growth, the lessons, and the experiences that have shaped us. Stoicism encourages us to embrace these moments, to use them as fuel for personal growth. Aren't you curious about how much you could grow if you made reflection a regular practice in your life? Imagine taking time each day to sit with your thoughts, to review your actions, and to ask yourself if you're living in alignment with your values. Over time, this simple act could lead to profound personal growth. It's like looking at your life through a magnifying glass, seeing the patterns, the habits, and the opportunities for change that you might have missed otherwise. This is the power of Stoic mindfulness and reflection. It gives you the tools to continually evolve into the best version of yourself. Number 7, success through serenity, how Stoic discipline leads to lasting prosperity. Picture this. You wake up in the morning, and instead of rushing through your day, overwhelmed by the tasks ahead, you move with calmness and intention. You feel a quiet confidence within, knowing that you are in control of your mind, your actions, and ultimately, your success. It's not that the challenges of life have disappeared, they're still there, but you've developed a serenity that allows you to handle them with grace. Doesn't that sound like the kind of inner strength we all desire? Success often feels like something we must chase, constantly working harder, doing more, striving for the next achievement. And while hard work and ambition are essential, Stoicism offers a different approach. It teaches us that true prosperity isn't just about external accomplishments, but about maintaining inner peace and discipline through life's ups and downs. Imagine reaching your goals, not through stress and burnout, but through serenity and focus. The Stoics believed that success was a byproduct of living virtuously, with discipline and wisdom. They didn't define success in terms of wealth, fame, or external recognition. Instead, they saw it as living in accordance with nature, doing the right thing, focusing on what's within our control, and staying steady in the face of adversity. In today's fast-paced world, where success is often measured by material achievements, the Stoic perspective feels like a breath of fresh air. It reminds us that lasting prosperity comes from the inside out. Think back to a time when you experienced success. Maybe it was getting a promotion, starting a business, or achieving a personal milestone. Do you remember the satisfaction that came with it? The sense of accomplishment? But how long did that feeling last? For many of us, the excitement of achieving a goal can be fleeting. We hit one milestone and immediately set our sights on the next, never really taking the time to enjoy the moment or reflect on what got us there. What if success wasn't just about hitting milestones, but about the way you approached your entire journey? The Stoics believed that serenity and discipline are the keys to lasting prosperity. Success isn't just a destination, it's a state of mind. And when you develop the discipline to stay calm and focused, even in the midst of challenges, you set yourself up for true, lasting success. Think about it. We all know people who seem to be thriving externally, but are struggling internally, burned out, anxious, constantly stressed. And then there are those rare individuals who exude a quiet confidence. They don't seem rattled by the chaos around them. They handle setbacks with grace and approach challenges with a calm determination. That's the kind of success Stoicism helps you cultivate. It's not just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it. For many of us, There's a nostalgic element to the pursuit of success. We look back on our early ambitions, our youthful dreams, and remember the excitement of chasing after something we deeply wanted. Maybe you remember staying up late studying for an exam, working extra hours to save for something important, or pushing yourself to accomplish something you weren't sure you could. There's a certain magic in those memories, isn't there? The feeling of striving towards something bigger than yourself, fueled by passion and determination. But as we grow older, success becomes more complex. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter, being strategic, and maintaining balance. And that's where Stoicism can truly change the game. By focusing on discipline and serenity, you begin to see success not as something external, but as something you cultivate from within. Every day, through small acts of discipline, whether it's sticking to a routine, staying focused on a project, or handling a difficult conversation with grace, you're building the foundation for lasting prosperity. Aren't you curious about what your life could look like if you embrace Stoic discipline fully? Imagine a life where you don't feel stressed or overwhelmed, where you stay calm and focused no matter what obstacles come your way. A life where success isn't defined by how much you accomplish, but by the serenity you maintain throughout the process. Stoic discipline teaches us that success isn't about constantly chasing after more. It's about finding peace in the present moment and building a life of steady, purposeful action. In the end, this kind of success is far more rewarding than any external achievement. It's the kind of success that lasts a lifetime, and the best part, it's available to all of us, if we're willing to put in the work. Drop 100 in the comments if you've made it this far. It means you're part of the rare 0.01% who commit to finishing what they start. If you're truly serious about transforming your life, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started, and this journey of self-improvement and Stoic mastery is one you don't want to miss.